Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. I've got a lot of updates for everybody's projects. I've been kind of crazy busy lately, so I haven't gotten to everybody's stuff. Okay, first engine we're going to look at here belongs to Mark. Mark, I have your alternator on here that you wanted. Your oil canisters on here. Carburetor's been rebuilt by Rick. Test run on an engine. I know that's perfect. Your intake and exhaust are detailed. Motor is just about finished. I still have to put your oil lines in. Your fuel pump has to go on, and then I'll mate it to the transmission transfer case. You get a nice clutch in there. Get everything lubed up, throw it in the test stand, get it fired up for you. So we're right on the edge of starting this, so hang in there, Mark. It's almost done. Okay. Next one. This is just in my spare time, guys, which I don't have too much of. This is an F head. I believe I bored this one 10 over. It's got a 2020 crank in it. This is a very nice, never been rebuilt motor. I'm starting to build motors for stock, so if anybody needs an F head, I have this one that's almost finished. Excuse me. I've got a new old stock exhaust manifold on this one, and like I say, this was a very good motor to start with. So like I say, I'm going to try and get motors on the test stand and running and be available for sale, so you guys don't have to wait. If you don't have a motor or something like that, I'm going to try and keep motors in stock if that can happen. So that F head's almost finished. Hang in there, got one more to show you. Okay, I have one more F head here. And just got the crank in this one. And I've got new old stock timing gears. Got the new old stock cam gear ready to go in. I have a brand new cam ready to go in here, milling. Like I say, there's high quality rebuilds, not that crap you get out there from a lot of other places. And this will go on a test stand as well. So like I say, if anybody is looking for an F head, I do have two of them that'll be available very shortly. This block belonged to a guy who wanted me to machine it for him. I don't know if you guys remember me telling you about that guy. He just didn't want to pay for shipping and blah, 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 blah. It turned out to be a real idiot. And this is that block. And that block is 30 over. So let's keep moving on. There's a lot to cover. Okay, guys, we're back on the axle bench. I've got the Dana 70 in epoxy primer. I've got the 373 gears for it, and this is a very early 70, so I know a lot of you guys are going to say that you cannot put 373s in here, and if I do, the whole world is going to come to an end, and there's a lot of people giving me grief on putting 373s in this early half-inch offset Dana 70. I do have a half-inch offset gear. This is critical. Half-inch offset on the pinion. We'll go deeper into the Dana 70 and I'll explain what I'm talking about here if you're not following along. This is a thin gear, and I am taking the time to get all my setup bearings out. Now this is the carrier. That bearing is just going to plunk on there. I honed out the inside of that, so now when I go and change shims and setup, that'll be ready. I have a cup that I ground on the crank grinder, actually, that slips in and out so I could get my pinion depth right without having to knock this in and out every time. So we're underway here. That's the 373 gear. That's the 587 gear. You see how much bigger that 373 is, and you really got to move that ring gear over. So don't be worried. It's going to go in there just fine, and like most people tell me, it can't be done. You'll see how I do it, and you'll know it can happen without the world ending. So let's keep moving along. Here's the Dana 44 pieces and parts. I've got a new carrier here. I've got a new carrier, and you can see it's lower than the 538 carrier. And there's the 373 gear, and that'll give us the offset that we need to get that into 44 properly. So that's all kind of underway. I'm just working on this stuff as I have some time, which is at a premium always. So let's keep moving on. Okay guys, here is the Hercules motor that's going in that Chris craft. This has been one nightmare of a motor. This crank had to be ground twice because the bearings that we got were all different sizes. I don't know why it was so hard to get bearings for this. I'm not getting the parts for this. The guy who owns it is. So this crank is now ground specifically to these bearings. The bearings were all over the place. Most of them were 4/1000ths tighter than they should be, so the crank got locked right up. And no two of them were the same. So the crank had to be ground specifically for each journal. Every one of these now is its own size. The rods I thought were going to be okay, and I got all of them in, and I came to number 1, and that now is a custom rod to go with the bearing. It's not even actually round. I couldn't even hone it round, so it had to be hand fit to get the 2000s oil clearance that I wanted. And this has been a terrible engine to get parts for and rebuild. It's coming out perfect. I'm very happy with the oil clearance on everything, but like I say, it took a lot of time, and it took 2 crank grindings to get it right. So I'll be happy to see that go. Hopefully on Monday of next week, we'll put the pan on the head and send that down the way. And if we come over to Lou, Lou, I tried boring you to 40 over. It did not clean up. I'm gonna have to go 60, and it's set up now. I just got to get it bored. Like I say, number 1 did not clean up at all at 40, so we're getting there. Just be a little more time, and I'll show you boring it, but it's gonna have to go 60 over. Okay, Scott, your engine's still just sitting here. I've got to get Travis's. This is Travis. I got to get Travis's engine on the SIP machine after Lou, and then I can break that setup down, and I will get your block set up on the SIP, and hopefully that'll happen pretty soon. But like I say, there's a lot going on, so I'm trying to catch up with everything at once. But I will get yours on the SIP right after Travis. Okay guys, we're in the fab shop now, and here is the 44 that we're rebuilding and that we're shortening. And there is a 25, and that is on my axle shortening jig that I've made 100 years ago, it feels like. So now, because we got to take the spring perches off, this was spring over on the 44, so these got to come off and they got to go under the 44. So I've got pins in here under this that locate the axle. These actually unscrew. This is how you get the axle on and off, and it's a precision fit into the bearing cups. Then I can measure this angle. I know that's the tilt we want, and I know this is exactly where we want our knuckles to line up. So without a jig, you kind of be screwed up doing that. You know, we'll keep the center lines of the pinion just like that in this direction. We'll keep those in line, and this is something I'm just not working on full time, but I do need to get it done. So from time to time I'll show you the shortening of that and how I go about doing that. And over here I have Scott's fuel tank kind of ready to go. It goes up like that. There's the back panel. You see, this is all hot rolled material. So while it's in pieces, I'll take that and I'll sandblast that down to clean white metal. And there's the top. That'll go in there like that. And before I TIG weld everything together, this will be perfectly clean. And because inside we're going to coat this with some fuel tank sealer. And in the top panel, I still got to put the sending unit. I got to drill for the sending unit. And then we've got to put the fuel lines in there, and I'll put a tank drain somewhere in this for them. But this is a heavy duty. That is 135 thousandths thick. This is 10 gauge, 135 thick. So back, I don't know, 15 years ago, there was a company making tanks exactly like the one I'm building here. And God, it seemed like they were only in business for about a year and they stopped making them. They were fantastic tanks. I still have the patterns for it, so this will be a super nice tank for that scrambler, and you'll be able to cruise over rocks and stumps without worrying about messing up your tank. This is the way to go. I like to put these kinds of tanks into vehicles that are going to get used. Okay guys, I wanted to show you some of the SIP tooling that I finally have finished. This is the whole key right here. This little 45-degree notch. It's got to be the right width, the right depth. We need a little cutout right there. And this is metric material, so I had to size everything for metric. So I started with these big guys. I've got inserts there and stuff. I started with made different length ones. We've got the cut in there. Still got some Dykem on there, some layout die, but you see we've got the right notch in there. Little relief right there. This is a negative insert. This is a big heavy duty guy. That's a negative insert in there. And I just made a bunch of everything, and I'm going to try everything and see how they go. And here is another one with a different insert in it. This is not a negative. This is a positive insert. Hope you can see that. But every one of them, again, this is the critical dimension. And scooping that little bit out there is critical. So, as you can see, there's two different size inserts there. And I made these tiny guys with that. That's another positive insert in there. And just scooped it out and made it so it was supported. And I've got just 3 of those. I don't know how much I'll use these, but I could really pull these way into the machine and cut real close to the boring bar. So they might have a use, but I think these 2 are going to get used mostly. They're ready to get cleaned up, deburred, and we'll make some test bores with those and see how they act. I did keep the tool height the same as the original, if you can see right there. I don't know why, but SIP has this where the cutting edge is not on the center line. Normally I would put everything on the center line. I don't know why, but they're a little off from the center. The center of the tool here is on the center, so the thickness, they're off by almost half the thickness of the tool. I don't know why that is, but it works real well. And I kept it the same way on all my tooling. So hopefully that'll work out. I just want to show you guys that. It was a lot of work to build all these little tools and stuff. A lot of precision measuring and stuff. But I think they're going to work out good. And when I do the test bores, we will take a look at the difference between a negative insert, a positive insert, and the different size inserts. And I can show all that if anybody's interested. And let's keep moving on because there's still more to show you. Okay guys, this container I have saved for the truss building. We're building those steel trusses, and it's been empty, and I gotta make a 48-foot table. This is a 40-foot container, but I'm gonna go like a 48-foot table. So we've been building some structure for that, and we're gonna start loading it up now with some parts. And I'm gonna build the table first, and then we'll get some steel. I'll probably build a couple trusses at a time. I'll probably do 2, and then another 2, and another 2, and keep going until I get to 13 or 14. Just too much steel to deal with. I don't really load that up in there. I just want enough steel to build 2, and then we'll pull those out and get some more steel, a little bit at a time. Okay guys, here we are on the second floor of the front barn. This is just crowded with, there's a lot of lumber here for my house trim and stuff that I haven't gotten to yet. But what I've been building are these sawhorses, and this is going to be the base for the table that I'm going to build the trusses on. So there's horses everywhere. All this lumber, 2x6 pressure treated. I used a lot of this when I was bringing the SIP machine into the building. I laid this on the ground 2 and 3 thick to put some rollers on and get the SIP rolled in the building. So just been cutting up a lot of scrap and a lot of used lumber. Here's some more here, and there's some more over there and there and there. They're everywhere, and we're going to take them out of there now. Maria has been helping me. She works the chop saw like a mad woman. There's her station over there. She works the chop saw, cuts all the pieces, and then I assemble them. So it's been good. I think we made, here's 2, 4, 6, 7. I think we made like 14 or 15 sawhorses. You can see our pile of scrap here. But we got to get these out of the barn now and into the trailer, and we're going to do that next. Okay guys, this is a standard sawhorse that I've been building forever. Back when I was building houses and doing a lot of carpentry work, I'd always build a set for the job site as soon as we got there. Everything is on a 15-degree angle. Your legs are on a 15-degree angle. Got a 15-degree angle here and here, and everything is just 15 degrees. It's just easier. Chop saw has a detent for 15. If I was making them with a skill saw, sometimes I go with a 12-degree angle. Just keeps the legs a little tighter. But this is a strong horse. You know, you can put a whole unit of 2x4s, 2x6s on these. It works out real good. And these are all, my legs are 3 feet here. And when you stand next to a horse and you're trying to figure out how big to make it, when you put your hand naturally at your side, you know, your thumb should, you know, kind of be right there, you know, that's a good height, you know, whether you're 4 feet tall or whether you're 7 feet tall. If you just, right in the middle of your hand there, if that's the height of it, that's going to be good for if you got a pile of lumber this big or you're cutting right on here, it works good. This is going to get a table on it with 2x4s and plywood, so it'll be a little higher. And then I'll do all my welding. I'll make a jig. I'll do all my welding of all the trusses in a jig with these as my base. Okay guys, there's 14 horses there. These couple of ones with the shelf on the bottom, I'm going to bring these in the shop and I'm going to film the Dana 70 on this so it's lower. I can't really get good filming high on the bench, so I'm going to put the Dana 70 on these two. We got a bunch more to build the table on, and then we'll start building the trusses. I had a YouTube viewer reach out to me when I was looking for somebody to check out my truss design, and the truss design is good. So thank you, Mike, and your Professor Ken. I appreciate you guys looking at that for me, and I'll show you the trusses as they're getting built, and you can see what I came up with. So let's get this closed up and we'll go back in the shop and close this one out. Okay guys, I know this video's been all over the place, so I had a lot to go over. I haven't been making videos too much while I'm working. There's just not enough time in the day. So I've got the dividing head on the mill and the tailstock there. I got my cheat sheet here. We're going to make some axles for that shortened Dana 44. I got some 4340 coming in, and we'll cut the splines, and there's a lot to the figuring out of the splines and stuff like that. I'll show you the best I know. I'm not a dividing head master by any means, but I can make some axles, and I'll show you how we get that figured out, and we'll make a few trial runs. I'll show you how it works and the cutters and stuff like that. If anybody wants to see it, just let me know, and I'll film it. It does take a lot of time, so if there's not much interest, I won't show it, but if you do want to see it, let me know. And I think we're going to end this video right here. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope everybody has a nice Easter, a day off tomorrow, and we'll be back at it on Monday. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.